we're in. And Afia's just joining us as well. So yeah, we're going to get started, and I'll just set up my screen to make sure I'm on the right spot here. Let's see, do that, start there. Oh man, you know, it's amazing how much you can learn in a few months. So let's see, we are going to do this. So it feels like I've kind of lost a big part of my, oops, hang on a second, I'm going to do something else here. Let's do the full one. Our group has been very, very busy doing proposals this last little bit, and Nori's on holidays, so it's been an interesting time for sure. So how's that for the screen? Does that work? Good. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
This picture comes from Sean from Littercoin. I'm hoping that he shows up today because he's going to be part of this presentation, I hope. And he doesn't know.
I'm here.
Oh, good. Awesome. Welcome, Sean. Anyways, welcome to our Cardano4Climate weekly meetup. I'll introduce who Cardano4Climate is afterwards for anybody that doesn't know. Our mission is making the world work better for all people, animals, and the living planet. Today's agenda is getting ready for Ideafest. DLT, Heinz, and MJ are here to give us some updates on that. We have an upcoming event on plastics and Cardano. We're going to meet Pike, I hope. And Sean will explain the Littercoin connection and the challenges that we have in helping him. We have an action plan and some breakout rooms. It'll be determined as we get a feel for what we're wanting today. All right, Ideafest this weekend. You thought you had a break. Not only CA assessments, but we need to get ready to present our Ideafest. Cardano4Climate will present. I'll be there to present all our community impact related and collaboration related proposals. And so far, it's a really good place to come to meet people. And even as I go through our proposals, I recognize there's a lot of different connections and things and collaborations that we could be doing. So it's a really good place to go there. Plus you're going to connect. I remember Fund 5 or Fund 6, I went to an Ideafest, and a proposal is just words until you actually meet the person behind it, and then it becomes real. So really good place for you to be as a proposer and as a voter. There's links in Telegram. We'll share these if anybody needs, just ask in the chat to register as a presenter. And so what I plan on doing is presenting a little slide deck as Cardano4Climate, and I will represent any of our proposals that put in one slide. This is what our slide deck looks like so far. Of course, we've heard this before. Climate change is a failure in cooperation. Scott Poynton from our first event. And about Cardano4Climate, we began as a challenge and we've turned into community around a common purpose of making the world work better for all people, animals, and the planet. So we'll represent our Fund 8 Cardano4Climate proposals. Oh, there's none of them in here yet. And our Fund 8 C4C community proposals, we have one. So right now, this one proposal on depths and water quality will be the only one that I represent, unless you guys fill in your slide, send me a link, buy this form. Lawrence, I don't know if you've got another proposal in. Sean, I need a slide. Heinz, If you've got a slide, I need a slide. And if you filled out this form before, I did add this part to it to send a link, because you know, we go through this thing and it's like, oh, right, Ideafest is coming. We need a slide. We'll be perfect by maybe Fund 10. I don't know if we keep repeating it the same way we are. But anyways, last time I went through all our proposals and I did this and I hunted everybody down. I'm too tired to do that right now. So this is your responsibility. If you want to be in this deck, you got to fill that out. Now, with that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Heinz. Do you have slides or anything that you want to share?
I do have a mirror environment, which I would like to share. So
you have a co-host, I believe. Right. So you should be able to share the host, share the screen. And I'll sit back and enjoy for a bit, okay?
Yeah, I think listening to you, Melanie, I think we share the same challenge. The last couple of weeks were really brutal. And I also have I submitted a Fund 9 proposal for a different way of funding some initiatives which are more mid and long term, more subscription based, to get out of this hamster wheel feeling, which is really brutal. So out of that reason, we also kind of got a little bit interrupted in our joint collaboration, and I just would like to pick up the thread at this point of time. So for those who don't know what DLT360 is, let me just walk you through some very top level things. So we believe, and I'm coming more from a corporate environment, so but it doesn't matter, organizations, NGOs, companies, I think going into some kind of journey, making a lift off of an airfield, it's always good to have a radar and know how the weather is, what is going to be in front of you, birds, airplanes, whatever, what are the risks, what are the opportunities. So companies typically run a risk management, and also open source organization will, I'm very convinced, need to do that to show their best effort. So what are we doing as DLT360? We want to provide this as a helpful service to the community. We call it Risk and Opportunity Radar. And out of that, we are working on implementation white papers, yellow papers, and blueprints to really not go in depth and develop our own projects, but to be a kind of a guardian, a kind of a flight control for many entities working in this field. So I keep it very short. We are still a rather small core team. We are just collecting very interesting number of domain experts. And my goal here is really to attract people who are not yet in the Cardano space. So also to have people from academia, industry, NGOs, to kind of convince them it's worth to invest time into this unique experiment. And then we are building mainly with students a contributing network around. So why do we need that? It's actually, I jump over this slide. What we are doing, it's just showing here what the Risk and Opportunity Radar is doing. It's kind of providing inputs to make the right choices. What are we developing? What are we strengthening as a community? Where are certain ideas to be prioritized? And so the whole typical way to professionalize innovation. So on a very top level, we are working with, we're still experimenting in this radar view. We are working with this kind of, could almost say, standard pastel perspective. So to look at political, economic, social, technical, environment, legal, ethical. We also want to also have a look at health and reputation here. So, and how you can figure this, was an early screenshot. So if I'm a project lead or like Cardano, a blockchain community, what we are trying to picture is different, let's say, impacts that we could run into: short term, mid-term, long term. What is the size of the impact and what is it? So with this radar, we want to describe possible risks and opportunities, but also incorporate links to the always relevant, for example, academic papers, to the background stories. So it's really a place, a nice visualization, a place where to find those things. So we are still experimenting a lot. I'm sharing some of the latest brainstormings with you. So we are currently, for example, we are already quite strong in the regulatory and legal area. We are catching up in the economy business. We know what to do in technology. And in environment, we still say it's all about, for example, the footprint. What can we enable with blockchain technology? And we also want to cover here ethics, health, and reputation. And I even think that, say, social topics and governance belongs to this area, because it's in this ESG basket, it's very much linked. So this is our, let's say, status. We are kind of, as I said, we are forming this work stream. We have actually 4 major work streams, and the environment, social, and governance work stream is probably the one with the biggest amount of topics in it, which we got a little bit delayed during the last weeks. So I have Michael Jordan as I'm not sure, Michael, if you are, I think you're online, as a facilitator from our side, and we are still working on, let's say, getting the team formalized, getting to our regular meetings. We were talking to Christian Unger. We have another expert. We are happy to team up with you guys. And we also want to team up with other initiatives outside today's Cardano space. So the journey is ongoing. There is a lot of brainstorming still. We have started a couple of weeks ago. So that's also where I would like to continue in the breakout room afterwards, to just get going again where we were interrupted due to the catalyst, how should I say, hamster wheel that was hitting us the last weeks. And maybe a final, you need to scream when I'm overdoing my time slot. A final statement, we have started with Fund 6. So let me just bring this up here. Fund 6 is the basic establishment of our risk and opportunity radar and the teams, and we will close this by, it will be not end of March, we will go a little bit into April with a first DLT 360 round trip video where we are covering all those different aspects. And with that, we hope also to show to the community what flight control in our sense actually means and what kind of value we are going to add. And the Fund 7 proposals, they are actually, we are always going for quarterly high quality video round trips. And so we are covering a lot of topics. We are not a YouTube channel that hypes a new topic every day. So we want to do this in a quarterly cadence, because the topics we are covering need also clarification, academic foundation, and so on. So it's really important to do this in a quarterly cadence. And the Fund 8 proposals we have posted, they are then covering the third quarter and to some extent the fourth quarter of this year. After that, we want to be independent of Catalyst. So our our future target customers is, of course, a subscription-based model for the Catalyst community. It's also for major Fortune 500 companies, for major consultants, and for really specific projects that run on blockchain environments. So we had a lot of, let's say, good progress there. And yeah, that's just to keep it, not overdo it in the time slot.
Thanks, Heinz.
We are happy to continue where we got interrupted. So
yeah,
nice to
well, we'll pick up, you know, climate change, regeneration, it's a long-term project. And, you know, this hamster wheel that we're in with Project Catalyst, it's hard. It feels like we have a harvest every 3 months. And as a farmer, you're supposed to have a winter break, you know, and gain gather your energy. I also love the fact that so many people are coming at this challenge, Project Catalyst, climate change, whatever, from very different perspectives. And you come, I believe it would be considered an agile project management business end of it. We have Conma here that approaches these challenges from a permaculture perspective and landscape. So it's actually quite wonderful to see how we can bring these together. One thing I noticed in your environmental part missing is traceability. Supply chain traceability is huge when it comes to environmental.
That is where I'm coming from, Melanie. This is
yes.
where I don't think it's missing. It's just it was not
okay.
visible yet, because that's from my, let's say, professional background in a Fortune 500 company. This is where we started out to think about blockchain in terms of transparency and traceability, specifically in the food safety and in the environmental, in the footprint area. So
yeah, because for sure, if somebody says, you know, that this is, we have an example of Tolko here, a lumber mill, labeling their tree or their lumber sustainable, and at the same time they're clear cutting massive amounts. It regrows, but it's not as sustainable. So they're misusing terminology and greenwashing things.
Yeah, one thing I want to add. Thank you, Heinz, for that. I think if you look on the financial statements of most of the big multinationals, you see 50% speak about sustainability, right? The annual financial statement. But then if you actually check what's happening behind it, there's no traceability and transparency of what they do. So I think it's a huge opportunity, actually, what Heinz is doing and DLT360 is doing, to actually provide a tool or the radar for these companies. And actually I had a call yesterday with a big multinational dealing with the diamond supply chain. They don't have really a clue what's going on there. And they're looking for traceability solution. So it's very complex, right? Because they don't want to necessarily open all the information, but at the same time, it's also very much needed because the consumer and government and everyone is requesting that. So yeah.
If you allow me to finalize, I think it's a huge opportunity, because economy is actually the handling of scarcity. So environment and economy should fly very well together. The problem is just that the environment is not showing up in the books of companies, and it needs to get in there. And I think that's the starting point of the journey, to professionalize this and to get it really into the bookkeeping of companies.
Exactly. Anyway, it's a long discussion, and yeah, good that you're pushing it forward.
It's an ongoing, we're here for the long haul, and it's great to partner up with you. Which reminds me, Conma and Vinay Aslan, we were hoping to get you in, if we have time towards the end of this, before the top of the hour, maybe you can share a little bit about what you guys are doing. For now,
would love to.
Yeah, thank you. For now, we have kind of a little bit of a schedule going on, but let's see how it goes and play it by ear. We're going to carry on with our presentation. And let's see, we'll go back to this, doing it this way. So thank you, Heinz. Thank you, MJ, for showing up at our core team meeting and other meetings. He's always there. So our next on the agenda is our Plastic and Cardano event. Very exciting, but you know, a lot of stuff going on with the proposals. We had an impact related event that Yoram and others were, because what we're seeing is we're seeing groups like CONMA, Climate Neutral Cardano, all these different groups throughout Catalyst are rising up, and there's leaders coming through, and to coordinate and to collaborate. We know climate change is a failure in cooperation, and we're trying to bring these teams together as well as from the ground up within our own community. So lots going on. We're busy all the time. We are delaying this Plastic and Cardano event a couple weeks. We have a form to fill out to try and help us determine the best time and date, because we pick between Tuesday and Thursday, and there's usually, you know, a convenient window for Western and European time, but maybe we need to be thinking outside the box on that. So we're rescheduling, and what we're hoping to do is, Abe came up with a great idea to do a Twitter space, informal introduction to plastics and Cardano. And we're also going to be doing an NFT release with Apocalypsia and Shlomo Cohen. If someone could put the links in there, he's a cartoonist, he's an artist who's done Hoskin tunes and released some NFTs with Charles Hoskins. And he's been a deep sea diver for many years, and he's seen the ocean turn into what it is. We're relating it together. So he's creating a series of NFTs. We'll do a soft launch at the Twitter space, so get ready for that. There'll be one NFT with you can donate for it, and there'll be another NFT with a fixed amount. I believe, Yoram, I'm sorry, I haven't checked the email yet. I'm hoping that I'm still on track on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, one idea is basically, one of the ideas for the launch is to give one of his artwork as NFT to any participant, and everyone can donate between one to any amount he wants of ADA that will go to an organization that is cleaning plastic from the ocean. Okay, and we are discussing with several organizations.
And the beauty
That's kind of to start launching.
Yeah, and the beauty of the NFT is that it's done by a smart contract, and the donation itself will be traceable. At this point, it will be going to an NGO, a non-government organization, and where it goes from there, we don't know, but we will be able to help support. And Yoram and Abe are working on contacting a plastic oceans, Yoram, right?
Yeah, plastic ocean. I mean, this is one option that we think is interesting. They recently did the Netflix film of plastic oceans. So, but we want to make sure it go to the right place. So we are kind of discussing with them and evaluating other options as well.
Perfect.
But the idea is really to start creating a kind of a community, a little bit what's happened around trees. Damien from Cardano Trees is collaborating with us. So what happened around trees with the Cardano trees and Very Tree. So it's basically created a community that cares about that. So the idea here is also to create a community that cares about plastic, removing plastic and blockchain.
And then we have, you know, in this event, we have identifying the problem, and that's where Sean comes in from Littercoin. Sean, can I put you on the spot for 2 minutes to share a little bit about Littercoin and how we met Pike, how you met Pike, and now we know Pike in the community? If you could just take it away.
Sure. Hi guys. Most of you guys know me now. I'm Sean. I'm the founder of Open Litter Map and Littercoin. So Open Litter Map is an open source data collection app that empowers people to map and record data on litter and plastic pollution. And as a reward for doing the work, we invented Littercoin. So Littercoin is the first token rewarded for collecting data about the environment. Unlike most crypto assets, it won't be listed on any exchange, and it's being engineered so that it can only be spent in zero waste stores in the climate economy. And I'm very active on social media, trying to get people interested in citizen science and unlocking society's data collection capacity. And I'm always looking at hashtags, who's tweeting about litter and plastic pollution, citizen science, cleanups, litter picking. So made a new friend online called Pike. He's based in Malawi, and he's a community leader and an activist. And they deal with the litter and plastic pollution problem almost daily. They have a team of about 50 or 60 young people who go out and picking up huge amounts of garbage and debris, massive amounts of, here's Pike. So he's active. We brought him in to the Telegram group, and he's the kind of guy that he has a GoFundMe and he's looking for support. But he's the kind of guy that we should be supporting. He's crying out for resources. He needs money to buy equipment for his volunteers so they can pick up all this plastic waste. They need wheelbarrows, they need gloves, they need shovels. They're engaging with the community. They do outreach events. So I contacted Pike and I told him, would you be interested in using our app to mine Littercoin? And then you can promote, you can promote your work and say, we're using Cardano, we're mining Littercoin, and they can use, learn about our ecosystem and how to apply for money. And it's a win-win situation because he needs money, Catalyst has money, and it's a huge positive spin for everybody in the community. But Pike's phone is not good enough to collect some of this data. So I sent him 100 ADA to get started to see, could he, sell this on an exchange, or could he, find one of the technology providers, maybe there's people who smell smartphones, can use the ADA, and he's stuck. He can't do anything with the ADA. He can't convert it into his local Malawi currency. And none of the technology providers will use it either. So we're all a bit stuck. So either we use the traditional Western Union system, which totally defeats the purpose of what we're trying to do here, to redefine money systems. So there's an emerging liquidity crisis here for people in the developed world who are doing incredible community work and environmental work, and who are crying out for access to resources. And just as we see the photos, it reminds me that it's not just litter picking, they do tree planting. We can integrate these people into the community by, with NF trees and other sorts of resources, and educate people about, these new monetary principles, because many currencies are just being printed into oblivion and are becoming worthless. And we have set in stone hard monetary principles. So there's a huge opportunity to educate an emerging economy and people who are crying out for access to resources to do community work. And I think there's an opportunity for us to try and fix some of these problems. So there's a liquidity crisis that we've identified in Africa, and there's an opportunity for us to try and use our systems. But right now, our systems only work for people in the developed world. So people like Pike can't sell their ADA. There is no liquidity, and nobody in his community will accept ADA. They don't know what it is, and they can't convert it into their local currency either. So I don't have the answer to this. I've reached out to the people in WADA and others to put this on their radar, and they're aware of it. And there's one or two other proposals to try and increase liquidity for people like Pike. But I just wanted to bring it to your attention as well, because he's the kind of person that's asking for help, and there's an opportunity for us to try and help him. And it's a win-win situation. I don't think there's a problem helping someone like Pike. He's asking for help.
He's real.
So,
he's
real.
real.
Yeah, he's a community leader.
He's in our Telegram chat all the time. I got all those pictures, starting from January. you know, here's Pike and he shows these pictures. He's got this big grin on his face and just in there cleaning these up. You see bags and bags of garbage on the backs of bicycles. He's taking it out. Please watch a plastic ocean and you'll know that there's a huge problem. We don't see this kind of litter, and he's taking it deep. You see those pictures. He's hands-on doing this, and here we are stuck having this.
What was interesting is I reached out to Pike. I sent him money on his GoFundMe. I sent him 100 ADA to get started, and he knew nothing about crypto. He never heard of Bitcoin or anything, and he just got it like that. He was so quick to just learn and interested, and wanted to help. He set up an account on Kraken and Binance. Like, he was just sold. He saw the potential, he understood the problem, and he got the value proposition like right away. But there's still this liquidity crisis, and I don't think any of us will have the answer for it immediately, but it's something to definitely just make the ADA Cardano community more aware of, because we're well protected and we have financial instruments in the West. And we talk about, people who don't have access to the financial economy and the banks and the IBAN systems and SWIFT that we know of. And this is one of them. And he's the kind of guy that's looking for help. And there's an opportunity here for us to try and do something about it. I don't have the answer, but interesting guy. And we can at least share his GoFundMe if you want to help him with the traditional money systems. But it would be amazing if we could get someone like him into Catalyst.
Yeah, on a long term. So let's see, I'm going to just do that. I think I have the link for the GoFundMe. I'll find it anyways, so we can do at least that. And if we want to, Sean, and if it feels like the right thing to do, we can have a breakout room and maybe do a bit of brainstorming on that. I'm also going to have a breakout room related to Ideafest, and we'll sort out this confusion over where do the slides end up, and we'll get that sorted out. So that's 2 breakout rooms. Thank you, Sean. Yorm, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think it's good to have a breakout. It's a good problem to have that, not a good problem to have. It's a problem that a lot of people have, and it will be interesting to brainstorm on that. I mean, maybe we need to find a microfinance organization that can accept the ADA and give cash on the spot for that, or a shop that we can send money to, right, and it can pick up equivalent in materials. So we need to find out. Yeah, we need to figure it out, because it's a huge opportunity actually if we crack this one for Pike and for other people.
Kareem?
Hi guys. Quick on this point. I sent Sean a link. I think the situation of cashing out ADA should be pretty easy to resolve, because we just need Pike to tell us in his village what exchange there is, and then convert the ADA into. We can easily convert the ADA into something else that they accept and cash out. I'm seeing this right now where there's financial situation in Lebanon. You can't the banks you transfer there, they hold on to the money. So crypto's becoming a lifeline. I mean, look what's happening in Ukraine. So I think we can probably find a solution to this. Pike can just tell us what's the closest exchange shop, and then just go and have a conversation with them, and then they might accept Bitcoin or another currency. Anyway, I shared a link with Sean that might be one option. It's called Simlix, but we'll find something.
Awesome. Bruno.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to mention that this is like a really big issue for a lot of African nations. And I mean, I imagine other nations around the world that don't have, the principal currencies, if they're not using the dollar, if they're not, the Rand is quite popular, and, the Naira. But, if you're living in like Malawi, Empower had a very similar problem when we were trying to get funds from Catalyst on the ground in Mozambique, because there aren't any exchanges, but there is no like Bitcoin vending machine in Mozambique. I think the solution was that there happened to be an investor in Empower, or not an investor at the time, because there was no investing in Empower, but someone who was connected with Empower, and he was invested in ADA. So he, opened up that possibility to basically do a peer-to-peer transaction with the Empower team, and they managed to sort that out. But I mean, if we could find someone in Malawi who's, you know, an Ada fan, I mean, maybe they could kind of sort us out with that. But yeah, if we could get something like Kareem was saying, sorry if I butchered your name, but yeah, you were saying that if we could find like an exchange, you know, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know Malawi, so we need to speak to Pike about that. Maybe they do have something like that we can sort something out and, you know, fund a little Bitcoin vending machine there or something like that.
I think what's happening, Bruno, is that things are changing really, really quick, right? So what was possible 6 months ago and what's possible today is different. There's a big growth, and the crypto buzz is spreading, and the first guys that get involved are these shops that do Western Union, right? There's in the village, there must be somebody who does Western Union. The point is not to send them a Western Union, it's to go and talk to them and say, hey, if we send you some crypto, it doesn't have to be ADA, which crypto do you accept that you will convert into cash? And they'll charge like 1.5% or a fee. And then once we know that and we have their address, then we can work it. We can work with Pike, so we can easily convert ADA through any of our. I don't know if you guys are aware. I mean, Muesli Swap. I use Muesli Swap. I use Sunday Swap. Easily converted into. Sorry, you could do it on Binance or any of these exchanges. Convert it into another Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything that they accept, and then send it to their address, and they give them cash on the spot for a fee. That would be my practical advice right now. Resolve it quickly.
For the time being, you know, like in the midterm, and then we also recognize, you know, the impact of Bitcoin transactions, you know, so ideally we work towards this. We have an immediate need right now to get Pike the supplies somehow, and yeah, eventually we're going to do that. I'm just looking at the time. Ilya, you go ahead, and Sean, and then we're going to just finish up, and then we'll go into breakout rooms and talk more about this. It will open this up, or we'll stay in the main room and open up breakout rooms for other stuff. Okay?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that there is a relatively easy way to convert crypto to fiat currency, and it's through the debit cards that the Binance issue. So Binance issues a debit card if anywhere in that country they have a place where they can withdraw money with a debit card. We make an account in Binance, we send the ADA or whatever crypto we want to send there, and we load the debit card, and that's it. Basically, if the guy has the debit card, he can withdraw whatever currency he has on place.
Yeah, if that's even available. Sean, you had your hand up?
Yeah, again, I was just saying, like, there's nothing stopping us getting ADA on behalf of Pike, selling it and putting it into his GoFundMe if that works for him. That's it. You know, it's not the system that we've designed to work, but we still have a long way to go. It just goes to show that we're nowhere near getting ready for global adoption if we can't help some of the people who need donations like the most.
And that we still have to go through something like GoFundMe as the intermediary, which has the lack of traceability, you know, at this point. Yes. Kareem.
Just a quick one, Sean. I think we need to ask him, I mean, GoFundMe, how long it takes for him to get his funds. It might not be as efficient as we believe or we know. So I think finding a solution on the ground, maybe the vendor where he spends most of his money in buying equipment might accept cryptocurrency. So I think it's just that conversation he needs to have we need to have with him, and then he needs to do some exploring in his town, the nearest town. And there are vendors that are now accepting cryptocurrency. I guarantee it. In Africa, in Lebanon, all places with high inflation, a lot of these guys are very switched on and they accept cryptocurrency, and they might accept Tether, for example. So converting it into Tether and then sending it to a wallet that they accept, and they'll give him the equipment on the spot, and they might even give him cash as well. So I think the GoFundMe approach is okay, right? But you need to ask him how does he get his GoFundMe funds? I think it's like a PayPal. There's probably like a couple of weeks time delay between the time the funds go in there and then the fees are quite high as well.
Yeah, one suggestion that I mean, already here in this call, we raised like 5 options, right? If we can actually, someone in the breakout room start summarizing them and write advantages and disadvantages of each option, I think that will be kind of start a guidebook for anyone like Pike trying to get funding, right?
Right, so we'll carry this on. Hanno, I noticed that you've also got something in the link. I'm going to just quickly finish up our little agenda here, and then I think we're going to end up going right back to solving this problem and getting it done. So we have a few action plans. Join Littercoin. I'm going to hope that Sean's going to just drop the link in there. This is world-changing stuff, you guys. It seems like, you know, this is just a little app, take a picture, get a coin, use it in a circular. But this application that Sean is working on can be a template for other things. Recognizing trees, tree planting, all this stuff, citizen science that's involved in it. It's very, very key. I know Yoram, you're using the app. I just started using it and it changes the way that I look at things. It's also a bit of a game, so we can compete if we want. I don't know where WADA stands versus Cardano4Climate. You know, this is a good kind of game in my world, where we compete to see who gets the most pictures of litter and most recognition on that. Other thing I'd like to mention is please watch. I'm just going to keep saying this. I feel like I'm nagging my kids. Watch A Plastic Ocean on Netflix. It's available. It will change your thinking on plastic. Very upsetting. The forum, we've put it in the chat. I will go through anybody that needs to put that slide in for Ideafest. I'm going to open up a breakout room just for that and let the rest of you work on Pike's situation. And we also have an event form to help us figure out a good day, and we'll drop that in the link really quick. And just quickly, we're a big community, and really hats off to Catalyst Swarm that started all of this, helping us organize as other communities. They do a swarm meeting on Saturdays, 5 p.m. UTC. Really quite helpful, gets you thinking, connecting with people. Absolutely a great time to be. We also have town halls in other languages, Latin, Africa, now bi-weekly, and Pacific Town Hall, that'll be tonight at 6 p.m. our time. You guys should be sleeping in the UK. Catalyst Women groups, our Cardano4Climate. These you'll all see at the weekly Pacific Town Hall, at the weekly Catalyst Project Town Hall. Networking sessions, I haven't been to that. And Gimbal Labs was this hidden gem that I watched this slide for a couple months probably before I realized how cool these guys are. And if you get a chance, even if you're techie or not techie, these guys are very inviting and welcoming. Now, Heinz, here we are at the breakout rooms. Do you want your own breakout room?
Yeah, I mean, considering the topics you have on the plate, it's of course always a challenge. I just want to be sure that we get the momentum started again. So maybe we do it this time in a way that Michael and we are preparing that a little bit more structured until next week. And we started from next week on.
Perfect. And same with you, Aslan and Kanma. You know, we'll figure out something a little bit better structured. I'm thinking we need 2 breakout rooms today. Aslan, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to reply to what you said. I think we would be joining your breakout room to start with now, and have more clarity and have a breakout room the next time.
Perfect. Okay, yes, we
We
will.
also have our Conma United session starting very soon now, so I might have to
Yes.
drop off in the next 15 minutes.
Right, I see Vinay actually just joining us right now. So
Yeah.
what I'm going to do is 3 breakout rooms. I'm going to head off. Hi, Vinay. I'm going to head off to one, and we're going to deal specifically with Ideafest. I will leave the main room open. Yoram, your host, you can continue to record. I think the recording will stop. Let's actually do that right now. We'll stop the recording.